defensively tonight. Obviously a big challenge against UCLA and Jaime Jaquez.
I mean, yeah, we just never gave up.
That one phrase epitomizes the sweetest sensation from Arizona. Today we're diving into the world of one of the Miami Heat's potential role players, Pelle Larsson. Hailing from the land of Vikings and ice hockey, Pelle Larsson's basketball journey began at a young age. Following in the footsteps of his father, who played for the 1995 men's national team, Pelle Larsson, a 6'5" guard, 208 pounds, had 12.8 points per game at Arizona, 9.6 rebounds per game, 4.1 assists, all while shooting over 42.6% from three, and that really showed in Heat Summer League. Rallying with his teammates, vying for a championship, Pelle Larsson put his full versatility on display. From dishing to teammates, to hammer at home, to shooting threes, to physicality and defense. We're going to be diving into what it's going to take for Pelle Larsson to be a role player for the Miami Heat this upcoming season. Like all rookies, he's going to have his ups and downs, his struggles, things that he's going to have to overcome to earn the coach's trust and get him on the floor. And there's no better inspiration for him to take than to look at the past in Dan Majerle. Thunder Dan, known for his versatility, being able to score, rebound, and defend at a high level. Pelle has someone to emulate who is in the Heat organization, who is willing to take the challenge and guard the best player night in and night out as his quickest path to the floor.
There ought to be a stat for desire. They could figure out a formula for it. The number of times a player dies for a loose ball, plus the number of times he took a charge, multiplied by the number of times he ignored pain. They could put it in the papers. The 10 guys who play with the most desire.
Throughout the NBA Summer League, Pelle Larsson took the challenge, played physical defense, 94 feet, and harassed ball carriers. Pelle, all Summer League long, channeled his inner Dan Majerle, entering the Heat's sacred Take Charge Club. It's one of the greatest ways, again, to get your coaches to want to put you on the floor is to defend, take charges, and be a good teammate. In addition to his competitiveness and defense, what made Dan Majerle so important and valuable to not only the Phoenix Suns, but the Miami Heat when he was there, is that he was a flat-out knockdown shooter with scoring 11.4 points per game, versatile, 2.9 assists per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, while shooting 35.8% from three. Dan Majerle was the most improved player in 1990, All-NBA defensive second team in 1991, and had 3 All-Star selections. His Phoenix teams reached the NBA Finals in the 1990s, and he was a valuable role player. Pelle Larsson can learn a lot by looking back at the past and emulating players like Dan Majerle, embracing that Heat culture, being able to take his game to the next level. He's going to have to clean up his turnovers. He's going to have to clean up his passing, and he's going to have to get better offensively. The Heat organization is one that can bring the best out in anybody. You can just ask Thunder Dan and look at the results.
Better job rebounding. We got out-rebounded by 20-plus boards, especially on their offensive end. We can't let them get second and third shots. We got to do a better job of keeping Rodman and those guys off the boards, and then do a better job on Michael and Scotty. They're going to get their points, but we got to make sure that we limit, what they do easily. We got to make sure they work.
One of the things that Pelle Larsson really needs to make sure that he works on in the off-season is his shooting on the move and being that knockdown shooter that can space the floor. If you look at Thunder Dan, he was a knockdown shooter no matter where he was on the court, spotting up, coming off pin downs, curls, deep threes, even half court and full court shots. Dan Majerle was a threat from anywhere on the floor, really ahead of his time in that way. And Pelle Larsson would be served well to be able to follow in those footsteps and be a knockdown shooter like Thunder Dan for not only the Miami Heat, but when he played for the Phoenix Suns. And let's hear Thunder Dan talk about shooting.
Shot is make sure your feet are behind the line. You don't want to be standing on the line. That'd be a 2-point shot, and that's probably the worst shot in basketball. So make sure your feet behind the line, get your knees under your shot, make sure you use your legs, and just get into rhythm and let the ball go. Take about 1,000 of those a day, and you'll have crazy range like me.
Ultimately, what makes Pelle Larsson so valuable to the Miami Heat is his ability to affect the game in multiple areas, such as rebounding, scoring, playmaking, and the defensive capabilities that we talked about already. Let's take a closer look at Pelle's numbers from college at Arizona. He averaged 12.8 points per game, 9.6 rebounds per game, 4.1 assists per game. They're all testaments to his versatility and his willingness to be a great teammate and fit in. That also showed up in the NBA Summer League for your Miami Heat. Showed him that he's a true competitor, he's a warrior, and he's going to rise to the occasion in late game moments. One of the things about Pelle he learned from his father is his footwork and his impeccable ball handling and shooting. One thing that was evident from watching his college tape was Pelle Larsson gets better as the game gets tighter, and that showed up in the NBA Summer League. Pelle Larsson putting the team on his back, hitting the game winner, making the NBA Heat Summer League champions.
The rookie, one better on the last possession, gets the game winner and the ring for the Miami Heat. Their first.
Coach drove a great play that we run before in practice a bunch of times. They did a good job guarding it, and then I knew me and Khalil in the pick and roll was pretty dangerous. And we had shooters everywhere, so they didn't want to help. And then I just made it.
I know the mantra for the Heat is always, we have enough. So many different players stepped up in big moments. What was the biggest moment for you guys?
I mean, there's so many. I think Cole hitting that shot is very full circle. You know, he's very hard on himself, but he's a great player. And then him hitting that shot to go into overtime was big for us. We were so happy for him.
Coach was telling us that you would have more of a role as a defender, but showing up, hitting big buckets such as this, what do you think that you showcase to everyone else about how high your ceiling is?
I think just my hunger, you know. I'm always hungry. Hungry. I'm going to keep working. So yeah, I'm not going to stop.
Pelle is hungry, and he's not going to stop. In fact, he's just getting started. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.